Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, I'm Ella.
Hi, I'm Charlotte.
Hi, I'm Eilish.
Hi, I'm Ella.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, I'm James.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And today we're talking about body image, which is probably one of my most passionate topics that we've got on the list. I think, we've all got our own sort of story that we can relate to body image and how we feel about ourselves and lack of or lots of self-love, different points in your life when you felt like crap because of the way you looked, or maybe sometimes when you felt amazing because of the way you look. Perhaps any like judgments you've received for the way you look. But the main reason I wanted to talk about this was because I, like a couple of months ago, got diagnosed with anorexia, and I used to be 95 kilograms about a year and a half ago, and I've pretty much halved my weight since then. So like I can see it from both points of view of being, a bigger lady and now a skinny lady. And I've got a lot to say on the topic. But first of all, I wanted to push it over to anybody else and see if anyone else has anything they want to say first.
On a similar note, Sarah, I as well have struggled with eating disorders from I was a teenager. I've got good control of it now, but it's always something that you think about every day, and it's a lot to do with the fact that you've no control in your life, and it's the only thing you can control. So that's what you use as your self-harm that way. But I'm good with it. I'm good with it, and like it's good to talk to other people about it that way and be,
As open as you can. I think that's such a big thing because I don't think it's really spoken about enough. Like I didn't actually start losing weight with the intention of losing weight. It was, but it wasn't to such a degree. I actually started losing weight because I wanted a boob reduction because I was like a 34G and I was like, this is hurting my back. They're too bloody big. And I actually spoke to my dad about it and he went, you do realise that you're not going to get one of them on the NHS unless you lose weight first. And I was like, right, okay. So like that was my actual main influencing factor.
Why is that? Why do you have to lose weight before? Is that just like so the doctors can look at you and be like, yeah, you're well proportioned?
I think it's because of like the fat. Like since losing weight, I've gone down like loads of bra sizes.
Yeah,
and I feel like
it's because your boobs will probably get smaller.
they're like mostly fatty tissues or whatever. So, they have to make sure they have to know what is fatty tissue and what is like breast tissue, I assume.
Okay.
But I even find the fact that, when I was larger, I thought I was stuff. The only thing I didn't like was how big my boobs were, and that was purely for the fact that it was genuinely giving me backache. Other than that, I literally was so confident, and now I'd say I'm like the least confident I've ever been in my whole entire life.
In relation to like stuff with like anorexia and bulimia and eating disorders and stuff like that, a lot of it for me was to do with my self-image and my, what the way I felt about myself, and how I could see other people around me doing better. And I just wanted to be the skinniest girl ever. Like I just wanted to disappear almost. That's what it felt like for me. But I feel like social media is a big thing that made it worse for me. That's why I'm kind of like withdrawn in ways, like with social media. There was a point where I didn't even I used to go into my appointments and drink 2 liters of water before I went in, just so I would be heavier when they weighed me, so I didn't get in trouble and like stuff like that. Like you do really manipulative behaviors and stuff.
So minus the control bit, because I definitely think that's a major part of mine. What do we think could be other influential factors for like eating disorders with regards to body image? You said social media.
I think I'm right in thinking that there are more cases of eating disorders in girls than there are guys. That I can't escape this like perspective that purely speaking from just like the girls that I know versus the guys that I know, there definitely seems to be a difference in the education on nutrition when it comes to making fitness changes. It seems like the guys that start to go to the gym tend to
Protein.
have, I mean, yeah, but it sometimes it's that simple, like but it is, nutrition is obviously the biggest part of making changes. Like I've been like working out my whole life, and only recently in the past few months have I noticed any difference, because I've been monitoring my like nutrition and macronutrients. And I think that I think that people aren't educated enough generally, considering it's like a prime part of your health. But it seems to me like girls are less educated on how to make the changes they want to make healthily. I think girls already have like, they're incentivized less to be fit and do activities and sport and stuff from a young age. It's like kind of seems like a masculine thing. But I think for me, the main difference is that I just notice there's a gap between what guys know about how to eat healthily and what girls do. Like, for example, my friends like talking about, no, I want to lose weight, and so I'm just going to eat less. And that's not really how that works. Like, yeah, you want to have a calorie deficit, but you actually need to be eating a lot more than you think you do, like protein and stuff like that, in order to have the right foods to make your body be able to burn the fat that you want to.
I agree, James. I also think that healthy and fresh food is a lot more expensive than McDonald's and, processed food. And it's hard for people who, especially students, who have to only spend a certain amount and can only afford to spend a certain amount. They can't always feed themselves the way they want to. Like, I know living here, I would I'm eating healthy, but it's definitely not good enough.
I think a lot of it comes down to the way that we compare ourselves to others. Like, we're constantly looking outside ourselves and seeing the way we think things should be. And then we start like a diet or a health journey on the bad mindset of, I'm not good enough. And then this leads to not eating enough calories, binge eating, and like, to really go on that health journey, it has to come from a place of love. Like, I've been back and forth in this journey like a million times. And when I start a diet, I don't really call it a diet anymore. I just say, this is me loving my body. I document like my thoughts. So if I just say I cheat, or like I'm eating a chocolate bar, what thoughts am I having? And I'm like, oh my God, like, it's all these negative thoughts come to the surface. And I'm like, wait, I need to be aware of this. This is not me. This is just my negative beliefs around, the outside reality and what I'm taking in from that. So I think literally, it's, if you want to start a health journey, it has to start within. It has to start with like love. It has to start with filling yourself up with so much love and just knowing that you're enough. Society like basically says, look outside you, what are they doing, but what do you need to do? And what you need to do is love yourself so much that it doesn't matter what size you are, as long as you feel good, as long as you love your body, that's all that matters, really. And I know it's hard, you're not going to get there overnight, because you've been programmed to think that you're not good enough, but I'm telling you now, you are. You are good enough.
I look back, I was actually looking at old family photos, old friends of photos with my friends, and I was like, when I was like a year ago or so, and I was like, I've always been the fat girl of the friendship. I was always the fat one in the family. Now I'm like I'm the smallest in the family, and I'm probably one of the smallest in my friendship group. And I'm there was a point where I really never used to think about it when I was bigger. I never used to care, just how it was, because I've always been, throughout my whole childhood, I was always the chubby one. When there was a point where, when I was skinny and I'm skinny and stuff, like, not sort of a few months ago, where I just, the thought of walking into town, going shopping, or anywhere where there was going to be members of the public there, I just freaked out, because I knew that every time I was outside and I was around other people, I was looking at the other people and thinking, wow, look how much better she looks than me. Like, her bum is way perkier than mine. Her boobs are so like perfect size. oh my god, look at her hair, oh my god, look at her lips, oh, her eyebrows, oh my god, her skin's so clear. Like, you know, like everyone I saw, I was like, they're
I
here and I'm here.
I used to be very like that, like whenever I was younger, but it wouldn't have ever been like a jealousy thing. Like it
No.
would I've kind of it would have been just like, oh, like I'm not good enough sort of thoughts. But like for me now, I just love looking at beautiful people. Like beautiful people are interesting to me, and I don't feel like I have to compare myself to them anymore. Like, I mean, we all struggle day to day, but like my overall view is just like everybody's beautiful, and there's so many different people out there that, you know, you're not going to be like everybody else. You are your own person.
You're like allowed to not like the way you look, and you're allowed to hate the way you look. I think the goal is obviously to be happier, and by that means you be happy in your own skin. And you can't just like love yourself. Okay, I'm now happy being in this body that I'm not particularly proud of, or whatever I'm not particularly comfortable in. And you don't have to love that about yourself. I think what you do need to do is separate your like physical aspects about yourself from how you define how badly or how much you love yourself. And you can also be comfortable not loving yourself.
About mindset. Like, I'm not saying like I love all me, because I definitely don't. It's definitely a process, but I think you have to have the right mindset if you want to approach like a health journey and to stay on track. And if it comes from a place of love, and I don't mean of loving every part of yourself, I mean from like a core universal love for like yourself, then it just kind of, it's just so much healthier. And like you kind of embrace the cycles. Like as women, we go through cycles through our period. There's sometimes we're bloated, and it's about kind of embracing these cycles within us. And acceptance. I think it's acceptance. I think no, like, you know, none of us are perfect. We're perfectly imperfect, and that's beautiful. But it's kind of, if it's coming from the right place, it is challenging, and it's unlearning this programming we've built in our minds. But yeah.
It's almost like healthy mind, healthy body kind of thing, isn't it? Like, in order to get a healthy body first, I think you need to make sure that your mind's in a healthy space.
I think your mind gets healthier like when you actually do start having like discipline, like, and start working out as well, because I know whenever I used to work out, I would feel far more confident in myself, and like know that even though I'm not the body type I want to be yet, like I wouldn't be as insecure about it, because I knew I was working towards it. It isn't just kind of like, oh, accept me for like everything, because there's clearly something you don't like about yourself. And like I don't know how mean that kind of sounds, but
No.
I think the health is kind of being pushed aside in this like accepting like your body image, which is like far more important to be like, I'd rather everyone was happy in their bodies than just be proud they're healthy and be miserable still. But yeah, as long as you're healthy, that's the main thing, I think.
I think the point I was trying to get to was, when you do kind of accept and love yourself, you want to fill yourself with beautiful food, beautiful whole foods that give you energy. So it's like coming from a good place. So you want to fill your body, you want to exercise, you want to shift this energy. It's all about like feeling good within yourself, and it kind of like naturally rolls together. You want, like, I know my health journey is, I am eating healthier now. I don't eat meat anymore, and it's finding what's right for my body from a place of love and acceptance.
No, I think that the line between, you know, a healthy body and a body shape has been blurred quite a bit. I know that when I was big, I had a lot of family and friends sort of say, you know, we're really worried about your health and whatnot. And, you know, diabetes does run in my family, and there are obviously other issues that, you know, perhaps wasn't as fit as I could be because I wasn't doing as much exercise as I possibly should have been, especially for the amount of food I was eating. But I wasn't necessarily eating like unhealthily. I was eating the right food, just too much of it, pretty much. Like my portion sizes were too big, and instead of really changing the portion sizes, I took all of this on board. You know, people pretty much saying, you know, you're too big, and you know, I was like, I need to make a healthy change. And I thought that the healthy change for me was, you know, reduce the amount of calories you're eating. And so I started looking for foods that were really low calories. And, you know, I've had the same family and friends, like family members and friends, say to me now that I am a lot slimmer, say, you know, oh God, you look great now. And I went, well, yeah, but I'd say that I'm more unhealthy now than I ever was before, because, you know, since, you know, having this, I've had many like stomach issues and like skin issues, hair issues, like my toenails all fell off at one point, like even my fingernails like chip all the time and like split down the middle and shit. Like it's, you know, like signs of malnourishment, and people are still like, yeah, but you look good, you know, you look healthy. And the only reason I look healthy is because I'm no longer big.
People sometimes they trying to be nice, or they're trying to like help you. For example, I've always been like at the limit of being underweight since I grew up, and then people they would just be like, but just eat more, but it doesn't always help. It doesn't work. I could eat a lot, I wouldn't gain so much weight. And people, and also then I wanted to say that at the beginning, but in the friends group, like I said, I was always growing up the skinniest like of my friend. And I didn't do it in a competitive way or anything, but then I just realized myself that if I start gaining weight, because at some point I started gaining weight, but nothing bad, but I saw myself getting stressed about it, like really like, oh no, I can't get so much weight, and just stop eating, just drinking a lot of water, but not eating too much, because I just know that I grew up with people always telling me, you're so skinny, that it's like an image that I have to keep in my head. And that's also something that I wanted to say, like your surroundings play a huge role in how you feel and like what image you want to have. So yeah.
Definitely.
As well as that, I think people can be a very negative influence on you just because of their own insecurities and stuff. I think the one time that I mainly struggled with this kind of thing was in year 7. Like that's kind of the first time people start really properly sort of thinking about how they look and stuff, I think. So I remember 2 people who I was sort of best friends with at the time were a lot smaller than me and stuff, just because especially because I'm quite tall and everything, I always felt at that age quite like out of place. But like they went really, really obsessively about like diets and things. So we were 11, you know. It was like I remember when my mum found out, she was just like furious. But yeah, I remember they would like we were eating breadsticks for lunch or something, and I ate like more than one breadstick, and they were like, "Oh my god, like you shouldn't eat more than that," kind of thing. And you know, obviously that was coming from a place of their own worries and their own panic and stuff, but it really then like badly impacted me and made me start obsessing over that kind of thing at such a young age. And like I remember, even so anyone who knows me knows I really love Taylor Swift. So like the first time I went to see Taylor Swift, I remember like I thought I had, whilst, you know, seeing like my favorite person in the world for the first time, I was looking at her and I was like, oh my god, like I wish I looked like her. Why do I not look like that, kind of thing? Because I was 11 and she was like 25, that's why. But like you know, and she was actually dealing with an eating disorder at the time as well. So yeah, I think the people, like, because I think someone said before, it affects girls a lot more, because I think our whole lives we're sort of given the like so many different impossible beauty standards, and that's because it's, you know, a lot to do with capitalism, a lot to do with what people can sell us if we're insecure, and what they can't sell us if we're not insecure.
But linking on from that, I wanted to start talking about, I genuinely didn't think about it, even when I clicked onto this Zoom call and I knew that this video was about eating disorders, I literally didn't even consider myself having an eating disorder. But having listened to different things and thinking about it, I wanted to talk about something that I've had an issue with. It's never been diagnosed and I've never seen a professional about it, but it really affected me for the last like 3 or 4 years, which is some sort of, I don't know what it is, but I would describe it as a fear of eating in public. And I know that sounds really strange, but if I describe it, maybe someone else could tell me more about it, because I've avoided trying to diagnose it or give it a name, because I have enough problems. I do not need another one on my plate, pun intended. And basically, I'll be like super fucking hungry, like really, really, I could eat a cow kind of hungry. And then when it comes to actually having a big meal or a dinner in like a restaurant with like more than one other person, as soon as the food arrives on the table, my appetite will just drop down to 0 and I will genuinely feel sick at the thought of eating anything. And I don't know whether it was a correlation between like with you guys, you talk about body image and like, I don't want to be fat. Like it wasn't that. Like I've been fairly not content. I mean, everyone has their ups and downs with the relationship with the image of their body, but it wasn't like, if I eat this, I'm going to gain weight or I'm going to get fat. But it was literally like, I'm going to be sick if I eat this. And it's happened so many times. I've never really considered it to be like a real problem because I just kind of avoid it.
Do you, sorry, personal question, but do you struggle at all with anxiety? Because I think that's quite a symptom of anxiety, is like not being able to eat in public. I know a lot of people that it affects that way, is it can just happen suddenly, and like, or not being able to eat in front of certain people or in certain situations.
I don't think I've ever struggled with anxiety before. I mean, Sarah, who knows me, you know I'm very extroverted and very like comfortable in a busy setting. I don't know, this is why I'm so confused, because it just sometimes happens where a big plate of food is in front of me and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I eat like literally one courgette and I'm like, fuck, I'm literally gonna throw up.
I think though, like anxiety manifests itself in different ways. You know, you can have social anxiety. I know that my biggest anxiety, and is actually diagnosed as separation anxiety. I hate being on my own. I have, you know, I could go anywhere with someone else and I'd be fine. The moment I have to do it on my own, and like, you know, when I leave someone, or, you know, it does manifest itself in different ways. And, you know, perhaps yours is just related to that specific thing. You know, just because you have an anxiety issue doesn't mean that you have, you know, you have to be socially anxious. You have to be, you know,
it's not about like being shy or anything. It's just, it can definitely manifest in very, very different ways, and like that could be part of it. Sorry.
Ella, whenever I struggled with eating and all, I suppose this all like connects, but I never ate in front of people. I would just sit and eat in my room all the time, but that was definitely an anxiety thing. But the whole like feeling like you're going to vomit, I had that later on in my life, but it got to the point where like I felt like I was pregnant. Like I was like, how could I be going to vomit every time I ate any piece of food? Like it freaked me out, but it was definitely anxiety because I don't have it anymore, and like I was in a really bad relationship at the time.
I don't know, it's a very interesting one, but I definitely would say, like, you know, from what everyone said here, you know, there's so many influencing factors and it all comes with, you know, body image, the way it's portrayed by people in your life, by social media, and also, you know, like Eilish said, like the sort of self-love thing. You know, even if you decide you want to go on a diet and you want to change a certain aspect, you know, you do have to love yourself first and do it coming from a place of love. Like, I'm doing this with the intention of nourishing my body. I remember actually Eilish, you said this to me once, you know, it's not about all the rest of it. It is about nourishing your body and giving your body what it needs.
And not that, I've taken like a few notes, and it's all about kind of like awareness and like self-study about how we like approach these situations. So I've wrote, am I doing this for me or society's expectations? Is this coming from a place of love? Is this me loving my body? Is this a limiting belief within me? We are so obsessed with how the outside world sees us. Why is this? And that kind of idea of, I'll be happy then. Well, how can we be happy now?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my like insecurities too came from like comparing myself to celebrities that ex-boyfriends of mine were like attracted to, because they would compare me themselves. Like,
yeah, no, definitely.
Be the dream person for yourself, guys.
Yes, like, bitch.
I actually got broken up with because he said, all my friends say that you're fat and I have to stick up for you and say, oh no, she's just got big boobs. But then when I was looking at you the other day when we were having sex, like I realized that, you know, you are quite fat.
Sorry to interrupt, but what a fucking dick. Continue.
Yeah.
He did it while I was on holiday as well, the bastard. He ruined my holiday.
I mean, like, he literally read a manual of how to get the deepest into a girl's insecurities and like uproot them and make it the face of the reason why he's not dating you. Like the fact that he said like during sex, like that is when you are most vulnerable. That is when you are most like, okay, make or break.
Most
Does he like me naked?
No, honestly, he said he was like, yeah, no, I noticed that when we were having sex, that, you know, you're not as slim as I thought you were, and I noticed what they meant. And I have a friend, and you know, she's got big boobs, but she's skinny, and I know that, you know, I've seen her in a bikini, and you know, you don't look like her. And I just remember, like, I was like, and you're breaking up with me because of that. And I just said, you know what? I wasn't even upset that you broke up with me, because I said, if your attitude is that, you know, fine, goodbye. But like, I just remember, you know, for the rest of my holiday, I wasn't even that big at that time. You know, it was probably the slimmest before I had done, you know, my big diet. It was probably the slimmest I've ever been. And I just remember being like, you know, it completely ruined my self-esteem. It really is like awful. But I would say, like, you know, with regards to comparing yourself to celebrities, what my best friend has often told me, because I do that a lot, I know that that was pretty much the start cause of my like serious anxiety with regards to my body image, was looking at like models and porn stars on Instagram and stuff. And I remember what she said, these people are meant to look good. These people have professional photographers and professional makeup artists, professional hairdressers. They have people that take the photos, edit the photos, Photoshop the photos. You know, they can afford like the best skin cream. They can afford the best hair treatment. They can afford the best fitting clothes. You can't compare yourself with that, because you're not in the same position. And I just remember, you know, that one conversation with her will never leave my brain, because it was like the first move to accepting myself as I am. So
I also feel like at the same time, everything we've talked about, like yes, has been about body image, but not everything should, like, you know, when you're in that mindset, everything's centered around your body image and what you think of. Not everything should be, because you should be focusing on your future and what will make you happy. You know, you need to work on your career and stuff like that. This is why I came here, you know, like to Liverpool. That's, you know, the main thing. As long as I know that I'm working on something for the future that will make me happy, that will keep me happy, you know, I just think that thinking about your appearance all the time could be the most detrimental thing ever. Like trying to look good all the time as well is just not maintainable in my head or physically or everything else. You know, in that moment you may not feel amazing about yourself and everything could be wrong, but if you can think of something positive that, you know, will change, you know, your progress as you're going or help you heal, then, you know, that's what I do anyway.
and I think
You know what? I'm sorry. You know what I'm just thinking? How we've been talking about like bodies and body image, and we've kind of like forgot how much our bodies do for us. Like
I
our
was just
body
about to
is
say.
this oh really?
Yeah.
It's like this magical machine. Like we get to like experience our senses through our body. It's just magical, really. But you can add on your wee point.
No, it was a very similar point like I was going to say about like singing. So obviously I'm a singer and I always have been. I didn't actually really realize how much physically it required until I realized that I didn't have the physical energy or the physical capability to actually even breathe properly in order to phrase, you know, a song. And I think for me that was like a massive wake up call, because it got to the point where we were having to like plan exam like changes for my exam, where, you know, at the end of this year I'm meant to be doing a half an hour recital of singing and I couldn't even last 1 minute, and we were like, well, maybe we can split it into like 3 10 minutes or 2 15 minutes, rather than, you know, because obviously I had like the letters from the doctor and stuff, and I just the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, why am I allowing, you know, that's not for a couple months still. Why am I, you know, it's good to have that in place if I need it in a couple months time, but I shouldn't be planning for that now. Instead, what I should be doing is, you know, listening and being like, well, singing is my life. It has been for years. You know, I write songs, you know, singing has always been how I cope with my trauma and how like things I go through. So why am I letting this, the eating side of things take over that? Because it was only making me more depressed because I was wanting to sing and I couldn't. So instead of that, I said, you know what, forget it. Like, like you said, our body takes us places, our body lets us do all these things. We should be working on exploring that further and allowing your body to do these amazing things. And I think you said something Eilish to me once, was like, your body loves you, so you need to love your body. And it's so true. And I think it's very important that we remember that. And it does come with self-love, I think, and it's a hard practice to get into, but I think once you're there, you definitely got a path in front of you then that would be a lot easier than the path in front of you if you didn't have the self-love.
Yeah, it's totally possible to change the way you think and the way you react to things, the way you process your emotions. It just takes time and work and love.
Recently on YouTube and Instagram, I've been getting so many adverts for like, want to lose weight? Let me tell you how you can lose weight for your body type.
Yeah.
And it's, at first I'm like, right, like it's normal, like adverts are adverts. But I don't know whether it's like my privacy settings or my personalization settings on like advert preferences. But it is getting really infuriating for me to see it every day on my feed, the same adverts.
Luckily for us, and this is amazing that we have this in our system. It's very rare, but you can find this information for free, although it's like, but that's why there's so much marketing for it, is because they don't want you to believe that you can get this for free. Genuinely, you can get like top class like tips, education from YouTube off of people that are trying to hit the area of the market. Because the market's failed, they're giving it for free.
On that note, James, could you, if you have any that you watch or like read, or anything you've researched, how about you send it and we can put it in the description?
Yeah, so I think it comes back to I really agree what James said, 100%. Education, we're not educated on these things, and it's actually really frustrating. And society, anyway. But when you put in the work, the inner work, that is your education, that is, building yourself up from an inner place, it will project out onto the world, and you'll carry that with you forever. And I want to come back to the questions and end on it here. So kind of self-study, awareness, that why. So am I doing this for me or society's expectations? Is this coming from a place of love? Is this me loving my body? Is this a limiting belief within me? We are so obsessed with the way the outside world sees us. Why is this? I'll be happy then. Can I be happy now?
Thank you for watching today. Please like and subscribe, and share. The more subscribers and likes we get, the more content we'll be able to do, and it'll be a lot easier for us. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.